Hi guys, welcome back to Econ Time with SK. So grab your notebooks, your favorite cup of coffee, and let's get started. So in this series of videos, we are going to be looking at some other concepts of elasticity. Specifically, so far we have studied price elasticity of demand, right? Now we are going to look at concepts like cross elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand, and price elasticity of supply. Okay, so let's get started. So what do we mean by cross elasticity of demand? Essentially, know that we are talking about two goods here. So that's where the word cross is coming from. And basically, we're going to be dealing with substitutes and complements. And so, what does cross elasticity of demand actually mean? It actually looks at how responsive is the demand of one good when there's a change in price of a related good. So, again, responsiveness is the key word because whenever we talk about elasticity, essentially we're talking about responsiveness, the reaction. And so, by looking at the cross elasticity of demand, specifically by looking at the sign of cross elasticity of demand, whether it is positive value or negative value, we understand whether two goods are substitutes or if they're complements. And we can figure out the extent to which two goods are substitutes or complements to each other. Essentially, this just means, right, this is the degree of responsiveness where elasticity is going to be more than one or less than one. So, the main thing about cross elasticity of demand is the price of good A, let's say it changes, then how much does demand for good B change? And notice how I am using the word demand and not quantity demanded, because we have learned before that quantity demanded is not the same as saying demand for a good, right? Quantity demanded means that it was caused by a change in price. Whereas demand, a change in demand means that it was caused by a change in some other shift factors. And in this case, the other shift factor is basically, so if I were to talk about good B, well, the change in the shift factor is change in price of good A, right? So moving forward, let's look at this example that we have here. So let's take the case of price of Coke increases by 10%, and we're being told that as a response, the demand for Pepsi, another good, increases by 45%. If we were to calculate the cross elasticity of demand, remember that by definition, this is the percentage change in demand for the other good, right? So demand for Pepsi due to a percentage change in price of Coke. So if I were just to plug in the numbers, we know that the price of Coke changes by 10%, which means that the percentage change in demand for Pepsi, it changes by 45%. So essentially, if we were to calculate it, we would get a value of 4.5. Notice it's going to be plus 4.5. So what does this plus sign actually mean? Essentially, the plus sign captures the relationship between the demand for Pepsi and the price of Coke, the relationship between the numerator and the denominator. So let's write it out. The price of Coke, which is our denominator, we're being told it goes up. And then we're being told that the demand for Pepsi, the other good, right, by a much greater percentage. So that is why I've drawn a bigger arrow. So look at the fact that they're moving in the same direction, the denominator and the numerator, that they're positively related gives us this positive sign. But logically, why are they positively related? What's the connection between Coke and Pepsi? Price of Coke going up and then what's happening in the Pepsi market? Well, by the law of demand, we know that when price of Coke goes up, the quantity demanded for Coke, of course, is going to go down. But as people reduce their consumption of Coke, what are they going to do? They're going to switch away from Coke towards Pepsi. If the switching is going on, we know that we are dealing with substitute goods. So that is why whenever you see the plus sign, it means that we are dealing with substitutes.
Alright, guys, I shall see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.